Imagine for a second that your mind is an unshakable fortress, a place where absolutely nothing, no insults, no criticism, could ever mess with your inner peace. Now that might sound like a superpower, right? Well, today, we're unlocking the exact strategies to make it your reality.
No, really, think about it. What if you had the mental tools to stay completely composed no matter what somebody threw at you? This isn't about being a doormat, not at all. It's about being powerful.
And this gets right to the heart of it. The greatest power you'll ever have isn't over other people. It's over your own mind. See, this kind of composure, it isn't weakness. It's the ultimate form of strategic strength.
So that's what we're going to do. We are going to break down the principles that let you go from being reactive and easily provoked to being genuinely unbreakable in your calm and your authority.
So here's the game plan for building that mental fortress. First, we're going to talk about controlling your perception. Then, mastering emotional detachment. Anticipating what people will do, focusing on the long game, using silence as a weapon, and finally, building what we call self-sovereignty. Let's get right into it.
All right, our first key is all about perception. You gotta understand that the power isn't in what other people do to you, it's in how you decide to interpret it.
Think of it like this. An insult is just a bunch of sounds, a collection of words. By themselves, they're neutral. They only get the power to hurt you the second you decide they have meaning. You're the one who gives them that power.
This is something you have to actively work on. You gotta guard your perception like it's the gate to a fortress. When someone comes at you, practice separating the facts of what they said from the story you tell yourself about it. Honestly, their actions almost always say more about their own weaknesses than they do about you. And that's how you take back control.
Now, building on that, our second key is about mastering emotional detachment. If your perception is the fortress wall, then this is the armor you wear inside of it.
And this is so important because when your emotions run wild, you become predictable. You become easy to manipulate. That anger, that frustration you feel, that's exactly what your opponents want you to feel, so you act against your own interests.
Okay, so here's how you actually do it. When you feel that flash of anger, the first move is to just pause. Don't react. Just observe the feeling. Watch it rise without giving into it. Your goal is to create just a tiny bit of space between that emotion and your action. Because in that space, that's where you find strategy instead of impulse.
Our third key is where we switch from defense to offense. It's all about anticipating human behavior, which gives you the incredible power of foresight.
You'll start to see that people are, well, kind of predictable. They're often driven by the same things: envy, pride, insecurity. Once you realize someone's jab at you comes from their own issues, it loses all its power. You don't take it personally anymore. You just see it for what it is, a predictable move on the board.
And that's the real difference, right? The reactive mind is always surprised, always caught off guard. But the strategic mind, it sees these moves coming a mile away. It's not about being attacked anymore. It's about seeing a pattern and calmly figuring out how to neutralize it. You're always a few steps ahead.
Let's move on to key number 4. And this one takes real discipline. It's all about prioritizing the long-term win over that short-term satisfaction of just lashing out.
When you react with anger, you're just giving the other person exactly what they wanted. You've already lost the game. But when you practice what we call strategic patience, you completely flip the script. Yeah, it might sting for a moment, but by holding back, you gain something so much more valuable: respect, control, and influence. Real power is in restraint.
This leads us right into our 5th key, and this one might be the most powerful, most underused tool you have, and that is using silence as both your sword and your shield.
Just think about it. The moment you feel that urge to defend yourself or argue against some petty insult, you've handed over your power. You've let them set the rules of the game.
And so the most powerful response is very often nothing, just silence. Silence sends a message that your peace of mind is not up for grabs. It projects this unshakable authority that words just can't touch. It's like an immovable wall that their attacks just crumble against.
And all of this brings us to our final and most important key. All the other principles are the building blocks for this one. Building your own self-sovereignty, your truly impenetrable inner fortress. This is the end game. It's a state where you're calm, your confidence, your authority, it's all generated from within. What other people say or do, it just becomes information. It's not a threat. Why? Because your inner empire doesn't need anyone else's approval to stand strong.
So let's just quickly bring it all together. These 6 keys create a complete system, right? You start by controlling your perception. Then you master emotional detachment. You learn to anticipate behavior. You always focus on the long-term win. You use silence as your shield. And all of that lets you build your own self-sovereignty.
So if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Anger is the weapon of the unwise. True, real power is shown through unshakable composure. That is the crown you earn through mastering yourself.
And one with this thought, your inner peace, that is your single greatest asset. So the only question left is, who's in control of it? Are you going to keep that power for yourself, or are you just going to hand it over to anybody who tries to provoke you? The choice is always yours.